Welcome to Wiki Bros. I'm Justin,
This is Kyle.
and this is the show with a couple of guys exploring various Wikipedia articles. So, Kyle, what do you got planned for us today?
So I stumbled upon an odd list. It's a list of inventors that were killed by their own inventions.
Okay.
So I'm going to just kind of go through this briefly. There's a lot of similar categories, so I'm not going to touch on every single one. We'll just kind of look at some of the odd ones, and might dive into one or two of the most unusual inventions on the list that they were killed by.
Right on.
So to start out the list, this one I would not qualify as an invention. It's in an art category, which I don't know how this qualifies as art. I'd have to dive into what the actual product was. But Luis Jimenez was killed in 2006 by his own blue horse statue, now located on the grounds of the Denver airport. I don't know how that would qualify as an invention, unless if it was some type of moving
Horse statue?
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to dive in.
How did he die from it?
Well, it says that a section of the statue fell on him and severed the artery in his leg.
So the dude's incompetent in his own work.
Maybe he can't weld. I don't really know. I mean, the horse itself was like it's from the picture, and we can put this up on the website along with some of these other odd inventions. It was made out of cast fiberglass, but it had glowing red eyes. That was pretty much the extent of it. I really don't think that would be an invention.
No, I don't think so.
I think they shouldn't have that on this list.
I agree.
But anyway, he got killed by this thing. It fell
Cool.
on because apparently he can't weld.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll move on to some of the more actual inventions. There's an automotive section. I'm going to go on to one or two of these. A lot of these are related to motorcycle inventions in the early 1900s.
Not horse inventions?
Not horse inventions. These are actual inventions, not
Oh, okay.
like glowing-eyed horse.
Gotcha.
I don't really know.
Okay.
Sorry, Lewis. I just don't think it's an invention, man.
No, I think it's probably better that you're dead.
Can we edit? We can edit Wikipedia articles, right?
Hey, sure, you
Just
can.
take this off. We need to take this off. Move him to another category. Anyway, to start out, Sylvester Roper died in 1896. He was the inventor of the steam-powered bicycle. So basically a motorcycle that he was trying to harness steam power to run. He died of a heart attack. Which you say, well, how did the invention kill him? Well, he died of a heart attack after the accident, so they don't know actually if the heart attack is what caused him to wreck the bike or if him wrecking the bike caused the heart attack. But they're labeling it as his.
So he could. So it's COVID-19.
Pretty much.
We don't know.
Did he get the vaccine?
Yeah. No, he did not. Oh. So he
I didn't get the
he just wrecked his motorcycle.
Pretty much. A lot of these are just like most of these inventions are just like poor use. Like they,
well, yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's early on automotive, early on aviation. The aviation, obviously, most of it's people in high locations doing dumb things,
right,
and without proper testing. But it's the 18.
How do you test it?
Right, it's the 1900s. Yeah. It's like
we don't have enough monkeys.
Apparently, there was no test dummies back then.
No.
They really wanted to use people.
No.
And no flying monkeys.
Well, monkeys would, you could use non-flying monkeys.
I mean, they would have been falling monkeys.
Yes, falling.
A lot
monkeys.
of falling monkeys,
yes.
actually. Apparently, monkeys were really expensive
What if you put
to
them
get
in
in
a
the States.
barrel?
Funny, we will actually get to one that is about a falling barrel today.
Oh, but not monkeys in a barrel.
I mean, maybe that's where the monkeys in a barrel came from. That would have saved the guy, maybe. I don't think I'd be jumping out of any barrel. No. Anyway, so we'll move on. So another one that's very related is made by William Nelson, died in 1903.
Willie Nelson?
Not Willie Nelson. No relation.
Nelson.
I guess I should check into that. Maybe
doesn't matter.
Pre-weed Willie Nelson.
What year was it?
He died in 1903. So obviously,
okay.
Anyway, he was just a General Electric employee. Was trying to also invent motorized bicycles and fell off his prototype during a test run. So wear your helmets.
Oh, does it say how fast he was going?
No, probably like 10.
10 miles an hour.
Because, it's 1903.
Damn it.
It's like, whew, so I'm flying today, guys. Just flying. It's funny. My
Do you know that the first Indianapolis 500 was ran in 1911.
Really?
Yeah, and the guy who won it, Ray Haroon, invented the rear view mirror.
You know, looking back, it's like, why wouldn't you have had a mirror?
Yeah,
But at the time, like you're like constantly looking out the window or looking behind you, like you're
Right.
backing up. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's an odd thing to, basic conventions.
I guess I was just getting at that he didn't die from his rear view mirror. I was just getting at that the
Inven-
first Indy 500 was only a few years later than that. So they,
It's true.
he could have been going at decent speed.
I would also like to thank you for that lovely addition to the invention list. For those of you that don't know Justin, he is a buffet of useless knowledge
Yes, that's right.
in history, and I thank him for that. Anyway, going on with the list, Francis Edgar Stanley was killed during while driving a Stanley steamer automobile. He drove his car directly into a wood pile, attempting to avoid farm wagons. A lot of these are steam engine based in the early 1900s. Honestly, most of them are.
I thought Stanley Steamer. I thought that was like a carpet cleaning thing.
I did too. It's very odd.
Maybe it came. Did they get that name because of it? It was an automobile he
Well,
made.
it says, no. So at the time, it was called Stanley Motor Carriage Company, and
Okay.
they were a manufacturer of steamed cars. So they were actually there was a lot of companies that were trying to make steam-powered vehicles prior to moving to gas.
Oh, interesting.
So it just kind of failed.
So the Stanley Steamer used to be a vehicle, and now it's a vacuum cleaner.
Maybe they needed Elon Musk back then.
Yeah.
He could have got these steam-powered cars.
So
going.
anyway, he died though.
Yeah, he just wrecked. Like I said, a lot of these is just they made these inventions and their deaths are.
Yeah.
It's not it's just stupidity. I mean, they were trying to test the.
Well, you're not gonna die if you invent paper that you write on, right?
What if you get a really bad paper
it's
cut
gonna have
infection?
to be major paper cut.
Well, I mean,
So it's got to be something riskier, I suppose.
it's true. It's true. Let's see. The next one, we're gonna move down out of the automotive section because a lot of those are repetitive. It's just a lot of driving accidents in the early 1900s, killed by they consider high-speed road accidents, which were probably just at like 20, 30 miles an hour.
Right.
So we're gonna move into the aviation. Let's see. We've got Ishmael. I am not even going to hack up his last name out of
Do it.
Hamad Al Jawahiri.
Yeah, sounds right.
He's from. He attempted to fly using 2 wooden wings and a rope. He
Okay.
leapt from the roof of a mosque in Nashapur and fell to his death. So he basically just jumped off a building. A lot of these
So
in the
he's-
aviation are people jumping off of high areas and just dying.
That's good.
The majority of them are. I think I'd start a little lower.
Yeah, but you don't have time to flap your wings if you're lower.
Well, he's got 2 wooden wings, right?
I tried jumping off the garage of my roof before. The garage of my roof before.
The garage of your.
The roof of my garage before.
Yeah.
With the dome tents.
Yeah.
That had the little cover over
Yep.
top of it. Yeah. I thought that would work as a parachute for me.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't. You just plummet and you hit the ground.
That
and
sounds
it
like a
hurts.
terrible idea.
Yeah.
I say that, but in retrospect, I jumped off the roof of my parents' house multiple times using boxes from Maple Corner.
Yes.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is where Justin and I first met at when we worked at a restaurant when we were younger. But yeah, I was doing backflips off the house on those.
Yeah,
Now, if
and-
I did that now,
No.
I would fall. I would
No,
die.
now I get to the very edge and I sit down and let my legs dangle off of the edge, and I'm still going, no way, that's too far.
Hey, you ever want to see a very amusing video? I came across it the other day, and it was bloopers of people trying to bungee jump.
Oh,
And it is hilarious because like some of these people would get to the edge and obviously they're like scared to death, right?
Right.
But you've got people behind you. And this lady like tried jumping, but literally just jumped up, like straight up. But once her feet came down, she slipped off and like landed butt first on the platform and then just like fell off.
oh,
The next guy like tried to like lower himself down like backwards off of the platform instead of jumping, and the helper of the jumper came up and literally just pulled his fingers off the ledge.
yeah.
But the funniest one and the scariest one actually was the last guy that I saw. He got up there and was like hanging with his arms backwards, like Spider-Man on a wall style, like this.
Okay.
and the helper, came up to try and pull his fingers off as well. The guy let go of one hand, spun around, and grabbed a hold of the guy who was not tied off, and almost pulled him off the ledge with him. Luckily, the guy was able to sit down and scoot backwards, and this guy like crawled up off of this, like crying.
You know what? Have you ever been bungee jumping?
I have.
Okay, so I felt like I could do it no problem. Like without a doubt, I'm like, man, that's awesome.
Right.
You know, up until the point where I was standing on the edge, and I'm like, so I just fall forward, you know? And they're like, oh yeah, man, just fall forward,
Just go.
no big deal, you know? And I'm like, so I don't do anything. I just fall forward. He's like, yeah, just fall forward. I'm like,
Well, it goes against everything your
Gosh,
body
Jay.
and your mind is telling you to
as
do,
I
right?
was falling forward, I thought, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, well,
Like
yeah.
my life is over right now.
I mean, you're making
So-
a choice to jump off of something that is way higher than a human should ever jump off of.
it
I mean,
was-
it's almost like skydiving, right? Like,
I want to do that.
I've always wanted to go, but it's like you would have to do like a tandem jump first.
Yeah, but my problem is with the bungee jumping is it's not long enough for you to enjoy it once you realize you're not gonna die.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
or-
once you
or
get
that-
past the initial like pull,
Oh yeah.
then it's just like, okay, this is not bad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like slowly go down. You know, it's just like a roller coaster. It reminds me of what's that ride at the theme parks where it shoots you straight up in the air?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But then it like dumps you back.
Right.
It's similar to that, obviously, just hanging upside down. But like, you know, with skydiving, like once you get out of the plane, you
Right.
have like a few minutes to enjoy it, where you calm down a little bit. And You're
Yeah.
like, okay, this is kind of cool. That's why I think it would be fun to do.
Right.
But my luck, the parachute wouldn't open.
Right.
My deceased uncle, he didn't die from skydiving, but
He invented the parachute.
yeah, it'd be
Great.
interesting if he was on the list. He actually went skydiving all the time, and the last time he ever went skydiving, he got in the plane with his instructor, and his instructor jumped out, and his parachute did not open
No.
with him,
Yep.
and obviously killed him. And once he hit the ground, he came home and he was like, if the instructor cannot pack his parachute correctly, he was like, I have no business doing it, and he never got back in the plane again, which he ended up getting killed from a freak accident later, using with a corn wagon
Blender?
of all things.
A what?
Wagon, corn wagon. He was feeding his animals, and the corn
Oh.
shifted and tipped over and crushed him. So
Yeah.
you know, man sit there and jumps out of a plane 50 times and nothing happens to him, and he gets
Right.
killed by a random wagon in his own farm.
Yep.
So
I have that.
anyway, we'll move on with the list here. A few of the other odd ones in aviation that we'll kind of touch on. First known fatality using what he referred to as the Rosier balloon, which I'm assuming is like a hot air balloon at the time.
Okay.
This is from a French man by the name of, and forgive me
Yep.
again, Jean-Francois Paletre de Rosier.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that
yeah.
guy. We're gonna just call him Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay.
Anyway,
Van Damme did what now?
Van Damme, he crashed his hot air balloon.
Oh. Okay.
Another man named by the Otto, his name was Otto. God, some of these names are just terrible. Lilienthal crashed one of his hang gliders.
Did he invent the hang glider then, or?
I'm assuming this was one of the earliest ones. This was back in 1896. It was probably one of the earliest hang gliders that they had at the time.
when did the Wright brothers do their thing?
Oh man, which is they didn't die, so they're not on the list. I can tell you.
Right, but I didn't know if that was. I have no idea.
Actually, you got me thinking. Let me just
I mean,
look it up.
it's got to be like. I'm saying, all right.
Just the time between these and the actual.
I'm saying Wright brothers did their little airplane ride in 1906.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Oh, yeah, you're. Orville Wright.
Yes.
See, he died in 1948. But
So-
when was his? When did they get the invention?
1906.
We're gonna find out here. They were born in the late 1800s, so it's very possible you might be close. And you know, if anybody would know, it'd be you. Their first gliders. Let's see, they started working towards flight in 1899.
Can we just look up like North Carolina? You know, they're so proud of their first in flight. They've got it plastered all over their license plates.
That's a good point.
When was their first flight?
Well, they did the gliding flights, if you can consider
Yeah,
those, back
yeah.
in 1901 with no engines.
Okay.
The engines came on board when they added power in, looks like around 1903.
Damn it.
Now, hold on. That doesn't mean that was the first powered flight.
Okay.
Um, no, yep. It looks like 1903 was also when they attempted their initial flights.
Tempted.
Attempted. Didn't sound like it said that they actually got
I'm
it.
close.
Yeah, I think you're right in the time frame. It looks like around 1904 is when
Yeah,
they
damn
got
it.
the successful flights. But hey, that's pretty impressive.
I know, but Price is Right rules. I'm screwed.
Now, okay, in fairness, they had their first article published about their flights in 1906.
All right.
So
there we
I'm just
go.
saying you
Rock
were
on.
you were close. You're in the ballpark. Anyway,
Yeah.
so one of the more I wouldn't say entertaining because it's still sad. One of the more odd deaths in the aviation category was by Franz
Yep.
Reichelt, a tailor who fell to his death from the first deck of the Eiffel Tower while testing his invention. The invention was a coat parachute.
A coat parachute.
A coat parachute, which, since his death, a lot of people will. There's a sport which is basically like parachute gliding.
Oh, right,
They've got specialty chutes. Those were based off of his invention
Yeah,
here.
that makes sense.
So now we might dive into this one a little bit further because the circumstances are interesting because he actually wasn't supposed to be the person jumping.
Oh, no shit.
He was supposed to use it. Well, he got the Eiffel Tower staff to agree to let him test this, claiming that he was going to use basically a crash test dummy.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
he just put the suit on himself.
Yeah,
and
well,
just jumped
fuck yeah,
off.
man. You don't play any games. You believe in yourself.
I guess
you go
not.
for it.
I guess not. Well, we'll have to do an actual
Take that leap.
article on the Eiffel Tower at some point in time. Not the building or anything, which we might touch upon a little bit of that. But there have been so many deaths related
Oh,
to the
really?
Eiffel Tower
Yeah,
over the
probably.
years, suicides,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and construction.
suicides.
Well, I mean, suicides are huge, but just during the construction,
Can you
everything.
imagine if you lived in France? Ugh. Just
Did-
jump.
Did you know that
Just
the Eiffel
jump.
Tower used to be yellow?
No.
It was a bright yellow color.
Hmm.
And they just don't paint them anymore because
Really?
it'd be a pain,
Oh,
obviously.
gosh.
How the hell are you gonna paint?
How
that
did they
thing?
paint it to begin with? I mean, after
prior
construction.
prior to putting it up? I'm assuming it was painted
No, but
on
I
the
mean,
ground.
after construction. Did they never repaint it at all?
I don't know.
just never did?
They do construction on it, you know, to keep it up all the time. Because obviously, if that thing fell, the devastation around it would
Right.
cause. Anyway, we'll get into the Eiffel Tower another day.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll move down the list. A few of the other aviation ones we'll just touch on quickly. Michael Decray died after a crash that occurred testing his flying taxi device.
Oh, like Space Taxi.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool actually.
Sweet.
Now this is recent.
Oh,
I say recent, but 2009.
yes.
And he was trying to create affordable travel between regional cities. So this was, kind of like a,
Space Taxi.
space taxi.
I love it. I love it.
Another man.
Wait, I want to know more about this.
This one could be interesting. We may have to dive into this one too. Flying taxi device.
How did this work? What was it? I don't understand. Is it like a flying car that we're supposed to have by the year 2000?
Well, it's interesting because the last two on this list in the aviation category are all flying, like low flying vehicles. Like they're trying to use helicopter devices.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
Borderline, and I'm really shocked. I totally see this being a thing in the next 10 to 15 years where somebody comes out, maybe 20, but they use the drone technology
Okay.
to create flying cars. Like
Sure.
they're getting them bigger and bigger every day. They automatically sustain themselves. The only downside is if one of the propellers cuts out, then you're kind of screwed.
Oh, that's on anything.
But it's like a car. It's like if your wheel falls off, you're
Right,
screwed, right?
yeah.
So you make independent motors and things like that too. But I totally see that being a thing eventually. Let me see. I'm kind of interested to go into the flying taxi situation. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was made. This was he actually had a name for it.
Okay. Space Taxi.
Jet Pod, actually.
Huh. Not-
Even better than Space Taxi.
No.
Do you like
nothing's-
Space Taxi better?
Nothing's better than Space Taxi.
That's a good point.
That was a badass game you used to play on the computer back in the day.
I don't think I ever played this.
Oh, Space Taxi. It's
What was
wonderful.
this? What was this on?
Gosh, I want to say it was the old Commodore 64.
Oh my God, you would have played on that
Yes,
thing.
absolutely. And you
Justin
would-
didn't use Atari. He had to be the cool kid and could play on the Commodore.
Well, I did Atari too, but But you just had your little tiny little taxi, and you lift off, and you go, and you fly over, and somebody's there waving their hand, and you stop, and you pick them up, but you can't kill them.
I was always a fan of
Yeah, it's badass.
Pitfall. Pitfall was my
Yeah,
favorite.
Pitfall.
I loved
Just
Pitfall.
swinging on that
Yeah,
rope.
it's awesome.
You've been swinging on ropes ever since.
Those damn alligators. Running from alligators my whole life. Anyway, so yeah, he so we may dive more into the flying taxi, or I'm sorry, the space taxi for Justin, just from his own amusement.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to know about
he
it.
can tell us more about his video game playing. Not that anybody wants to hear that.
I just want to know about the space taxi. How was it made? Like, what's it?
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna have to. We'll look into that one a little bit today.
All right.
If we have time at the end of this, otherwise we'll split it to the next discussion. Next one, Sheikh Ishmael died in 2021. He was only 24, so this was a young inventor. Died during a testing of a self-constructed low-cost helicopter. Failed on the initial flight test before it was able to take off. The tail rotor malfunctioned, broke off, hit the main rotor, and basically hit him in the head.
So he invented a helicopter.
Basically, it's supposed to be like a mini one, which I don't really. This isn't really anything new. I mean, they already have the very small. I cannot remember the actual name of the airplanes, but they're like pocket-sized airplanes. Like the size of a car. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You see them out all the time. Like people flying around fields over in Indiana all the time.
I'm calling this guy. His invention is about as good as the horse.
I think so too.
It's already invented.
I mean,
Get the hell out of here.
We really need to talk about the space taxi, though. I think that's where to
agree.
go. I want to know more details. Okay, next category is in chemistry.
Yeah.
Most of these, I'll just touch on a few of them briefly. It's a lot of these people are dying from their own chemicals. Which they're messing with radium-based products like Sabin, Sarchok. Yeah,
Count Chocula.
I'm just going to call him Arnold. This is Arnold von.
Oh.
Can't even say his last name. Anyway, he invented the first radium-based luminescent paint.
Okay.
But obviously died from anemia resulting from the exposure to the radioactive material that he used in the paint. So,
Sure.
This was back
How
in
long ago was that?
1928.
Yeah.
So they probably weren't aware of the.
Well, they are now.
Oh, definitely.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Count Chocula.
Let's see. Marie Curie.
Marie Curie.
Curie, yes.
Isn't that the person that makes the? Oh, isn't that the person that makes the little meals? The little microwavable meals?
Oh, it's
or is that Marie Colander? What's her name? You know what I'm talking
I
about?
have no
They're little
idea.
like healthy meals that you put in the microwave, but they taste like ass.
I don't.
Oh.
All meals you put in the microwave
No,
taste like ass.
no, they don't.
Really?
Yeah, some of them are good.
I don't think so. I don't
Yes,
believe you.
they absolutely are. Yep, absolutely.
You seem like a hot pocket guy.
I like a good old hot pocket.
Yeah, terrible.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so
back to
how'd she-
Marie Curie.
Marie Curie.
She was a Polish and naturalized French physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. So once again,
Yeah.
someone else who was killed by long-term exposure to radiation.
So
Doesn't really claim anything about the devices she created. Just says that she was an early pioneer on radioactivity. So she basically just messed with chemicals a lot.
she messed with chemicals and she
A
died.
lot, and it just
Good.
says some of which was from the devices she created, but then doesn't list any device that she created.
That's good. I like this category a lot.
This is terrible, guys.
really good.
Like really terrible. I mean, part of this is, this one's entertaining. I am not even going to try to pronounce this last name.
Okay.
It is frightening.
Just give us the first name.
It's a Soviet scientist. His name is Andrei
Oh, we'll call him Agassi. No. Zinkowski.
Zinkowski. I like that.
Wait a
Zinkowski.
minute.
Anyway,
Stealing my
he was
alter
developing
ego.
chemical weapons in 1987 when a hood malfunctioned, exposing him to traces of the nerve agent Novichok 5. He spent weeks in a coma, unable to walk, years suffering from failing health before finally dying from the effects in 1992. So he had a really crappy 5 years after that. Don't mess with chemicals, folks.
Yeah, don't mess with chemicals.
Stay out from underneath the sink. Next category. This might be the most boring one on the list, aside from the from the horse. I'm really disappointed with some of these deaths. Like I was expecting, exploding cars.
Yes.
Not I crashed.
Space taxi.
I messed with some chemicals. I mean, so far it's been the space taxi and the dude jumping out of
The wingsuit.
with the wingsuit
Yeah.
have been the most entertaining things. This is the worst. Like this is by far the worst. William Bullock
Okay.
died in 1867 from his invention, the Webb rotary printing press.
Okay.
He got killed by a printing press.
How?
It's several years after its invention. His foot was crushed during the installation of a new machine in Philadelphia.
Okay.
See, this is not really from
Oh,
this is
God.
negligence.
So
this is straight negligence. He died from gangrene from negligence, and then he died. He didn't even die from the gangrene. He died during the amputation at the hospital because it's 1867 and they have really crappy medical.
This is the worst list ever.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm really disappointed with Wikipedia. I mean, it's
Oh, God. This is the worst.
Okay, moving on to something else. This category is called maritime.
Okay.
Harry Winstanley built the first lighthouse between 1696 and 1698. During the Great Storm of 1703, the lighthouse was completely destroyed with him inside.
Where is it at?
It's gone.
I mean, where was it at?
It was in Devon, England.
Okay. So a storm killed this guy.
Basically,
Again.
he built a lighthouse. Didn't know how to build a lighthouse apparently to withstand any type of weather, and it collapsed and killed him
'cause
and
it
five
was-
other men inside it. Apparently, the other 5 men aren't important because
Okay. I mean, that's fine. Well, because we're talking about the inventors that died.
True.
So it was the first one. He didn't make it right. I'll give him that.
Okay.
I'll give him that.
Next guy, John Day, died 1774. He was an English carpenter and wheelwright. Died during a test of his experimental diving chamber.
Okay.
Interesting. Horace Hunley.
Wait. What's the diving chamber?
It has no link to it whatsoever. It
Well,
doesn't even have a. I don't even know what they mean by that. A diving chamber. No clue. We may have to do a little Googling on that one and come back to it later once I get through the list. See what other horrible ones are on this one. So Horace Hunley, sorry for my long H pronunciation. Hunley was a Confederate inventor, died 1863. He drowned with 7 other crew members testing the first combat submarine, which was later named the H.L. Hunley.
Okay.
That one's kind of cool. I actually remember discussing this in history class.
What year was it?
1863. First combat submarine.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy to think of the time frame.
Civil War.
I mean,
time,
obviously
they've
it
got-
didn't work, but the fact that he was
Well, yeah,
trying to
he-
make the attempt.
Yeah. And he made it out of, we don't know what it was constructed out
no
of.
idea.
Just iron.
I'm assuming just iron at the
Yeah.
time, which is probably why they drowned. Cowper Coles was a Royal Navy captain who drowned with approximately 480 others, sinking of the master turret ship of his own design.
So again, he
Didn't-
didn't
didn't know-
invent
he
this.
didn't know how to build
just
it. He was trying to
he
just
didn't invent anything. He just redesigned something.
basically. Like, I don't really think they should qualify as
No,
inventions.
that's not an invention. You know what I invented one time when I was a kid? I invented a pack of cigarettes that came with a lighter.
Oh, hey, that's genius.
Oh yeah, and then my brother said it's not an invention, stupid. And I was like, oh. Same thing with this
You know,
list.
you just let him crush your dreams.
Not inventions.
Crush your dreams.
Stupid.
Maybe, these days people are so lazy they'd probably buy it.
Like,
Are there any cigarettes that are sold with lighters?
they used to.
I mean, now,
My dad used to get them all the time.
who wants to buy a new lighter every single time they buy it, especially the way people smoke?
I don't think people smoke that much anymore.
Now everybody vapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suck on your
Don't
vapey.
look at me.
Suck on your vapey juice.
Don't look at me.
I don't call it that. Justin calls it that, just so everybody's aware. Vapey juice. Anyway, moving on to Thomas Andrews Jr. was an Irish-born businessman and shipbuilder. I feel like
Shipbuilder.
This is going to be another one of these. I made a ship, and
You pooped.
it's just as bad as I thought it was. As the Arvel
Naked. Poop.
as the naval architect in the charge of the plans for the ocean liner RMS Titanic.
Mhm.
He died in 1912.
Okay. Because he did what? He built the Titanic?
He was traveling on board the vessel during her maiden voyage. Yeah, this is the Titanic.
Okay, that's a whole nother
I don't know why they
episode.
just didn't like put a whole thing on, just say that he built the Titanic. Like, what do
Yeah.
you got to go in those detail? Like, just useless detail.
Oh,
It's terrible. His body was never recovered. Yeah, well, along with the other
480 people.
1,500 people
However
that
many it
died.
is.
It says 1,500 actually.
Oh,
All right, let's hopefully the other categories are better than these. Medical category. This is gotta be something better, right? Alexander.
Hamilton.
No, no, not Hamilton. Bogdanov.
Oh, Bulldog-Nov, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course you knew him. He was a Russian physician, philosopher, and science fiction writer. It's an interesting combination. Experimented with blood transfusions.
Oh,
Attempting to achieve eternal youth, or at least partial rejuvenation, he died after he took the blood of a student suffering from malaria and tuberculosis, and who also had the wrong blood type. So yeah, that's kind of a problem. It's kind of interesting.
why would he think that? Just because it was a younger person? Is that what made him think that he would? He
Yeah,
just took blood from other
his
people?
thinking, and I think I've read other articles on this in the past. Like their idea was that if you would infuse yourself with the blood of younger individuals, that it would suddenly like rejuvenate your body. Like the blood is what was causing us to age. So yeah, but you think you would?
What year was that?
This was 1928, actually.
No shit.
Yeah, a long time ago. Which you see this
No,
now.
but I would have guessed like
long
1700s or something, trying
I mean-
something silly like that. 1928.
Well, and not only that, like why of all the people,
When did
he
blood
picked
transfusion
a person who already had malaria and tuberculosis.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Of all the blood to use, like why would you even use his blood?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
No, obviously he used the wrong blood type. All right,
But he didn't know. But he's still an idiot.
I feel like he should have.
But I feel like I'm down with their idea. Like, yeah, give me some young person's blood. You know what I mean? Like on the time, sure. They don't know any better. That sounds like a reasonable idea. But
I remember.
but to get somebody's blood
wasn't bathing in blood a thing back then too?
for vampires.
No, there was like I've read something on this too somewhere where it was like a thing for the aristocrats to do. It was like they keep their wrinkles away by brushing blood on their faces. It was some ridiculous
Blood from all the people that
things
they've killed.
the things that we do for beauty. I say we, but
You get your hair cut every 3 days.
it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. It's like, there's nothing to cut in 3 days. It's impossible.
There's nothing to cut in 2 weeks.
That's a lie. That's a lie. It grows fast. All right, moving on. Thomas Midgley was an American engineer and chemist who contracted polio at the age of 51, leaving him severely disabled. He devised an elaborate system of ropes and pulleys to help him lift himself from the bed. He became accidentally entangled in the ropes
he
and
did.
died of strangulation at the age of 55.
Oh, shit.
Wow. However,
Oh?
he's also known, or better known in this case, for two of his other inventions.
Okay.
Which one is an additive to gasoline.
Okay.
I would think choking on your own.
What's his name again?
Thomas Midgley.
Yeah, I don't know
I've
Thomas
never heard of
Midgley
him
from anybody,
no.
so he's not better known for shit.
He's not known. Like,
Now, all I'm gonna
from
know-
this going forward, him choking,
Yes.
I'm gonna remember that more than the gas thing.
Yeah, and he was probably masturbating at the same time. I bet he was. I bet he was.
Pulling the rope.
Yes. Look into it. This guy was masturbating and
That's-
he died, and they're trying to save face. So they're like, oh, he just got entangled. And no, he did it on purpose. Sick
That's
fucking
disturbing.
pervert.
That's disturbing. Okay, so next category: publicity and entertainment. These are not inventions. I don't understand this.
No, it's not just.
Actually, I say that, but this is actually one of the more entertaining ones on this list. Karol Sochek was
Yes.
a Czech professional stuntman living in Canada who developed a shock-absorbent barrel. He died following a demonstration involving the barrel being dropped from the roof of the Houston Astrodome.
No shit.
This was in 1985. He was fatally injured when
Wait,
his...
in 1985, they let somebody put themselves inside of a barrel. Like, I get it in, like, 1923. They're like, oh, yeah, fuck it. Let's do whatever you say. But in 1985, we know a little bit more.
I mean, I guess they thought maybe it was going to bring attention to the Houston Astrodome. I don't really know. I mean, they've let people go over, like, the, you can get permits to do stunts I mean, you see,
Oh.
Evil Knievel do like the big jumps. You've
Yeah,
seen
I
people go
guess.
over
Yeah, I guess you're right.
the waterfalls and the barrels and stuff. I mean,
I don't know. I just say throw a monkey in that thing, man.
well, I mean, then it's animal cruelty. I mean, you
No,
definitely can't do it these days.
If a monkey survives, then you do it.
No, you invented the damn thing.
Yeah, but you're not gonna.
You get in there and you go.
God damn
Well,
it.
nowadays it's not like it is now. You see they've got the test dummies who can like actually record the impact pressure to the dummy and how much force it would have taken
Yeah, those
inside
are
the barrel.
expensive. Just use yourself.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, not everybody's Mythbusters, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
so
So anyway, the purpose of this shock absorbing barrel,
absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It was just
So,
an invention that he had.
just
But anyway,
because he wanted to jump off the
well,
asteroid.
the problem is,
He's an idiot.
he was supposed to hit a water tank. So he was supposed to roll off to this barrel and land in a water tank to break the fall, basically.
Okay.
He manages to roll this off and hit the barrel on the rim of the water tank and killed him instantly.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, you're
You don't make a big enough tank.
apparently,
and how much shock
literally, you hit the
absorb-
rim. Another 5 feet, man. Another 5 feet. And I've actually seen pictures of this, and we can actually post this one to the website. The barrel's like massive. It's like the size of a car.
Okay.
Maybe like a small car. But then it's got basically just like got padding on the inside. It's like this was his genius idea.
So he made a fucking coffin, and he fell off.
Pretty much. I hope that they buried him inside of the barrel. Like, why waste your money at this point?
Yeah.
Leave him in there, roll it into a hole.
I like that idea.
I mean, if I'm gonna die and I'm gonna be remembered for that,
Yeah.
at least he's not the guy with the ropes.
It's a good point.
Midgley.
How'd they do that, pervert?
Yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on. This is a railway category. That's kind of a neat name. Valerian Abakovsky died in 1921, constructing the first aero wagon, an experimental high-speed rail car fitted with an aircraft engine. Wow. Intended for
It's a rail car?
a rail car using an aircraft engine.
In what year?
1921.
1921. Okay.
It derailed
Yeah.
at high speed,
Weird.
killing 6 of the 22 on board, including the inventor.
No shit. Was this like the test run of it?
I'm
or-
assuming so.
No, surely not. You don't pack 22 people into your death machine for a trial run.
That's probably a good point, actually. And the fact that there were 22, I would say this is probably after it has worked for a while,
Yeah.
and they don't have any details on what caused it to derail, whether it was speed or something on the tracks. I mean,
Raccoon.
cows.
Cows.
That's why they put the cow catchers on the front of the trains.
Yeah. They
And actually, that should be on the list here. Like, cows legit used to cause all kinds of accidents
yeah.
with trains until they put the cow catchers on there, and they literally just like flip you off the track.
I want one of those for deer on my vehicles.
That's an excellent idea. Hey, you could just say you invented it. Just add it to the car and be like, I invented the car.
I invented it.
I invented the car.
Absolutely. And then I'll die when I hit a deer, and I'll be on your stupid list of.
It's true. I mean, it'll be one of the more entertaining ones on this list for sure. All right. Okay. Now the last category, sadly, or maybe thankfully, is rocketry.
Okay.
Max Valier died in 1930. He invented the liquid-fueled rocket engine as a member of the 1920s German Rocket Society. It was an alcohol-fueled engine that exploded during its test run, killing him instantly in Berlin. And then the other one was done. Actually, this is a recent one. Mike Hughes, killed in 2020, was killed when the parachute failed to deploy during a crash landing while piloting his homemade steam-powered rocket.
Oh,
he went back to steam power.
And he's using steam power for his rocket.
No, I know exactly what happened. He read this list and said, people needed to go back to steam power. Why don't we use this for a rocket?
Yeah. And now they put him on the list.
Genius.
God,
Genius,
dang
Mike.
it.
Once again, put your dog in there or something. Like I know, but like I can't even imagine why you put yourself in there.
No, that's pretty stupid.
So anyway, we're gonna go through a few of these on the next episode and kind of dive into a little more of the 2 or 3 of the actual interesting inventions. Mostly the, I think we're gonna dive into the contraption for the flying parachute and then definitely the barrel. I really want to know more about the barrel.
I don't want to know more about the barrel. I hate the barrel. The
No,
guy's an idiot.
no. I want to know. Like what was your point of this invention? Like there had to have been something to do with that.
To make a list.
To make a list.
So that people like us will talk about him one day.
Well, I feel like it's almost like an Evel Knievel thing. Like I feel like it was done as a publicity stunt. I feel like he was trying to he was a stunt man, obviously, so he was trying to make a name for himself and then killed himself. I mean, were there any other ones on the list that you might want to look into?
Yeah, the one with the horse.
Really?
I'm joking. Please don't. No, the space taxi, man. I want to know. About the damn
the space taxi. Okay, well, we'll at least check into briefly those three.
Because that was newer. Didn't you say it was like 2009 for space taxi?
I believe so. Yeah, that was definitely a new one. And then
we're not using Commodore 64s in 2009.
The low-cost helicopter was after that one, 2020, but I feel like that's not nearly as entertaining as a flying
it's
taxi
a
device.
Or whatever. Yeah. It's like
the
Uber.
jet pod.
It's like Uber taxi.
Yeah. I mean, this one could actually be pretty cool.
Space Uber.
Just a little... Space Uber.
Spoober. Ooh, that sounds nasty.
No,
like
don't. I already know where you're...
Yeah,
just stop it.
Watch out for that spoober.
Just stop it. All right. Well, next time we'll go into a little bit more detail on some of these, and then hopefully we can find a better list for the next group we go through, because this was awful.
That was a horrible list.
Horrible list.
But I do want to know more about Space Taxi.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'll at least review that one then.
Okay. Space Taxi. What else?
Definitely the parachute one could be kind of
entertaining.
Oh
yeah, the wing gliding, because that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Even though you hate it, I'm definitely looking into the barrel.
All right.
Like I just want to see like what he had inside this thing. I feel like there had to be more than just padding. Like if your plan was to jump off the Houston Astrodome with a padded barrel, like that was it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's horrible. The guy's an idiot.
It's the worst idea.
I don't think I can say it enough.
At least Evel Knievel had a ramp to land on.
Yeah.
You had like what, a kiddie pool you were trying to dive into?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, it's moron.
So, all right. So then let's we'll put some information up on these. Give you some pictures. We got any pictures of this stuff?
Yeah, each one of these has a few pictures detailing some of the inventions, which they will probably be more entertaining than the list itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of this was, they're old pictures. You're talking 1890s to early 1900s, with the exception of, the space taxi.
Space taxi, man.
I'm excited about space
taxi. What's that guy's name again?
The space taxi guy?
Yeah.
What was his name? Michael DeCray.
Michael DeCray. Like Michael Dukakis?
No. I'm going to need you never to bring him up again.
Okay.
Yeah, ever.
Michaal DeCray. Yeah, interesting. I would like to know more about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll put some more of this information then up on the website at wikibros.com. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. Follow us on your favorite social media outlets like TikTok and Instagram. And remember, Wikipedia runs on donations, so would you consider giving them a couple of bucks? Join us next time for Wikibros. I'm Justin.
This is Kyle.
And we'll see you soon.